Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Cohn.
And I'm Janelle Slade. President George H.W. Bush has arrived in Washington, D.C. for the last time.
Today, the 41st President of the United States returned to D.C. on board the presidential plane that's been renamed Special Air Mission 41.
Family and friends, along with a host of dignitaries, greeted his casket at the Capitol building, where he'll lie in state in the rotunda until his funeral Wednesday.
Wednesday, December 5th of this week has been declared a national day of mourning in honor of the late president.
During his political career, President Bush made 4 trips to Montana.
Q2's Samantha Sullivan brings us a look back tonight.
Thanks for this warm Montana welcome. It's outstanding.
George H.W. Bush traveled to the Treasure State as vice president back in 1988. At the time, he came to Billings, endorsing Conrad Burns for Senate.
We need him. We really need to get control of that Senate again.
While in Billings, the vice president sat down for an exclusive interview with the team at Q2.
Speaking of the vice president, we have some company.
We live? Is all
yes, we are.
During that interview, he spoke about the impending changes coming to Washington.
There is going to be wholesale change in a Bush administration, and that's not disrespectful of those who have served. It's just the process reinvigorates the system.
The next year, now as president, Bush came to help Montana celebrate its centennial.
Let me say to everyone gathered here and to all the people of Montana that it is a great pleasure for me to be back in this great state. Happy birthday, 100.
During his speech at the Capitol, the Republican president lauded the state for leading the way when it came to conservation, even planting a tree on the Capitol grounds.
This great state was once the scene of an epic battle, man against nature. Too often, the only question that matters was what man could take from the earth, not how we left it or how we put it back. Well, no more.
The president's strong environmental message was right in line with the governor, that a sound economy and the environment can flourish together.
The president would make 2 more visits to the state, both in the Magic City in 1990 and 1992. While he covered plenty of topics and issues during his visits, his message was always one of love for this country and for its people.
And as I look out over this magnificent audience, an ocean of red, white, and blue, I see America at her best. And this country's strength has always been her people. People who for generations have always helped, not only for the neighbor next door, but for the stranger in trouble down the street.
Samantha Sullivan, MTN News.
Now, of course, the president would lose his bid for re-election in '92. Montana went for Bill Clinton, but it was an interesting election to say the very least.
Clinton wound up with 37% of the votes in Montana. Bush took home 35%, and the independent Ross Perot won 26% of the vote.
In other news tonight, 4 new officers welcomed into the Billings Police Department today. But is it enough to fill the department's staffing deficit? Police Chief Rich St. John says it certainly helps, but the force is still down in the number of officers. Now, these officers presented their badges in a district courtroom this morning with Judge Greg Todd presiding. Now, this brings an additional 4 officers into the department's force, totaling 153 officers total. But prior to today, the department was down as much as 14% in the number of officers. Another 4 will begin training at the state's Law Enforcement Academy on Friday, while another 3 have recently been offered officer positions. But that still leaves the department short by some 3 officers. It's something Chief Rich St. John says the force has tried to cope with by moving officers off specialized divisions to help in the day-to-day 9/11 calls. These new officers, he says, will help fill the void.
It's required us to retask some of our specialized positions, pull them off of the proactive duties that they do to help respond to calls for service. And so when we start getting people back on board, then we can release those officers back to their proactive, which is where we want to be on all of our enforcement efforts.
The Billings Police Department now has 12 women officers, and there is this. Former Yellowstone County Sheriff Detective Vince Wallace recently retired from that position. He'll be taking a new job now with Billings Police as one of its new patrol officers. Today, his son Zach, who have a higher rank with the police department, was taking part in the ceremony presenting his father with his new badge.
Despite all the political rhetoric over Obamacare, it's still the law of the land, and that law is still helping thousands of Montanans buy health insurance. MTN's Mike Dennison brings us the latest on the internet marketplace policies in Montana.
Earlier this year, Republicans in Congress eliminated the Affordable Care Act's mandate that all citizens must have health insurance. But Congress has not repealed another key component of the law: federal subsidies to help those buying policies on the individual market. Sign up for these policies is underway. The deadline to sign on and get the subsidy is December 15th, a week from Saturday. Just like in years before, Montana consumers who want the subsidy must buy a policy through the federal website, healthcare.gov.
Not much has changed, and I think people are becoming more familiar with the process. It's an opportunity for folks to go online, shop the differences between health insurers, shop the differences between the cost and the benefit structure, and find the plan that works for them. 3
insurers offer the policies in Montana: Blue Cross, Pacific Source, and the Montana Health Co-op. Currently, about 50,000 people in Montana have these policies. But they aren't cheap. They range from a low of $324 a month for young adults up to $1,200 a month for those approaching 65. And deductibles are in the range of $5,000 to $7,000 a year. Yet, if you earn less than 400% of the federal poverty line, almost $66,000 a year for a couple, you could be eligible for a subsidy. Richard Miltenberger of the Health Co-op says with the subsidies, most Montanans pay a lot less, sometimes as little as $50 a month. 85% of Montanans who bought policies in the past have been eligible for the subsidy. Despite a lack of publicity about the marketplace policies this year, Montana insurers say they're hoping enrollment will be pretty much the same as last year.
I think enrollment is still steady. A lot of people understand the value of having a health insurance plan, whether that's the access that you get to primary care or whether it's that financial safety net that you have in times of crisis.
Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. And Mike tells us some alternative policies are becoming available. They cover less and cost less, but they do not qualify for any subsidies.
Still to come on tonight's 5:30 News, it was 25 years ago the city of Billings declared hate not allowed here. Tonight we remember the Not in Our Town movement.
And later in sports, it's NFR week. Scott shows us who to look out for when your national finals rodeo heats up Thursday.
And coming up in weather, well, we started off today with a few scattered snow flurries, but now those snow flurries have gone. Just a couple of flurries up there by Kalispell, but our weather starts to improve. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.